Hello, this is a quick video I'm putting together on my electric Leyland. It's a Leyland 255 built in 1974. I bought it about 2 years ago in pretty poor condition. It then sat around for a year or so while I was finishing off the MGF. And then October 2022 I finally started it with the intention of getting it ready for haymaking in 2023, which is quite optimistic. It didn't hit that target, but we might hit it for this year. So what I've done so far in the restoration is just stripped it down, rebuilt the brakes, unseized the pedal shaft which is rusted up, and gave it all a bit of a rough coat of paint. I've also upgraded the steering to hydrostatic, as the main pin in the steering rack was completely worn out anyway, and it probably would have cost just as much to fix that than it would have to do what I'm doing now with the hydrostatic upgrade. So onto the conversion itself. It's a 2011 Leaf motor, the first generation motor. Um, so it's one of the basically it's like an R&D Nissan motor, I think. It's got a lot more. Well, it's got more low-end torque than the second generation, but it's less efficient at high RPM, which is fine for this application because I'm going to limit it to 3,000 RPM to stick to a sensible road speed. So I'm going to be using the Zombieverter to control it, which is a really good open source project. I've used it quite a bit already. It's working in the MGF at the moment. I'm going to put it into the Defender as well when I go out to doing that project. For the DC-DC, I'm just going to use the Leaf DC-DC. I got that with the motor. I cut out the junction box to save a bit of space, and then I've got it hooked up, hanging underneath the inverter. So for the charging, I'm going to use a Cayenne hybrid charger, Porsche one. It's a 7 kilowatt charger. I've had it running on the bench. Did a bit of reverse engineering with other people's help on the Open Inverter forums. I've written a module for Zombie to run it, but that requires a lot more testing. So we'll get that mounted in, probably sit underneath the inverter again, and then we'll give a go working with that in the vehicle. The battery's a bit of a test pack at the moment. It used to sit in my MGF in the passenger seat back in my first iteration of that. It's made from old pouch cells, probably about 15 kilowatt hours. It's not an amazing pack. Once we've got it all moving and it's all sort of verified working, I'll probably upgrade to a 55 kilowatt hour MEB pack from the Volkswagen ID4s and 3s, etc. Getting back to the steering then, it's going to be hydrostatic now, and so to power that, I've got the power steering pump from a Vauxhall Corsa, and that's going through an orbital valve from an old 3-ton dumper, I think, actually, and go down to the steering ram, which is from a Massey Ferguson. I've got that mostly plumbed up at the moment. I'm just missing the last few links to link the ram to the wheels, and then yeah, it should be functional soon as well. So onto the dash display. I think it's like a 9-inch Nexon display with an Arduino on the back of it, and that reads CAN bus from the inverter and the zombie, etc. It's got a GPS module as well for speed, and that should give me all the relevant information I need. And then printed a little bezel to make it look neatish, and then waterproofed all over silicon, so it does look a bit messy, but I think it should work quite well. And so that's it really for a brief overview of the Leyland conversion. I'll probably make another video when it's actually running again, and then a lot more details on the build are on the Open Inverter forums, and I'll put a link to that in the description.